Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. I'm going to direct my questions to Secretary Davin. We had spoken, when I say earlier, it's about 2 hours ago. We're talking about the manufacturing PA program. And you had talked about it. I think we all agree here in Pennsylvania, we're known for our manufacturing. We've struggled a little bit. And the proposed budget for this year, again, includes $12 million for the manufacturing PA initiative, which is the same amount as this past year. Yeah. This program, though, was supposed to create or retain about 6,000 manufacturing jobs. And you know, the program's new, and I understand that. But it appears that the number of manufacturing jobs has been down about 4,500 since the prior year. And I just wanted to, you know, is it safe to assume, though, that this new program that we're working at, is it going to generate, you know, 6,000 new manufacturing jobs, which I think you suggested? And then if that's the case, what are you looking at for revenue, additional revenue to the general fund if we're able to do so?
Good. That's a good question, Representative. And we do believe that it's going to happen. We have rolled it out. It's getting rolled out. In some cases, we have not deployed all of the funding, the whole $12 million. As you remember, part of that funding, about 5.3, is going to the industrial resource centers already right now. They do a great job of helping manufacturers with their processes and things like that. We also have the Manufacturing Training to Career Grant, which provides funding to manufacturers, provides funding to community colleges, provides funding to other organizations, trade organizations, associations, and we've made, I believe, 10 allocations for that. We're getting ready to out of that particular program. And then the Manufacturing Innovation Program, which we're working with our research centers, that's about $2 million. And we've actually opened that up to not just the research centers, but other universities. And the idea there is to use the technology and the technical expertise in the universities through students, graduate students, professors, directly with manufacturers to really upgrade the amount of and their ability to be utilized. That actually, the fiscal agent for that is Carnegie Mellon University. They've stepped up and agreed to do that, and we're going through that program right now.
I mean, it's a good segue, because I was wondering about that, because when the program was rolled out last year, you know, we were focusing on the industrial resource centers, and you had mentioned we now included Carnegie Mellon in this. So to us, to me, and to the committee, it appears that we've kind of changed our focus or the scope of the program since we rolled it out last year with the universities. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. I just wanted to clarify that, because I wasn't quite sure of the 7 Penn State research universities that were originally included, whether they're still part of the program or how they're going to be included, because it does seem like maybe something was tweaked or changed.
Sure. Yeah, what was tweaked there, we anticipated that the industrial resource centers would continue to do what they were doing and do a great job at, and maybe do some other things in terms of maybe connect with some other manufacturers that they haven't typically seen, you know, to kind of broaden what they do. The Manufacturing Innovation Program was always anticipated to be utilized by the 7 research universities throughout Pennsylvania. Not just Penn State's one of them, but you know, Drexel, University of Pennsylvania, CMU, Pitt, and some others. But we wanted to open that up also, because we've gotten feedback while we were putting the program together that other universities thought that they could provide some help for that too. The universities under the State University Association, and we're working through that right now. And then we had to identify the fiscal agent and get them up to speed, because the funding would roll through them to these other organizations.
One thing I just want to close on something. I know my time is probably going to soon run out, and I spoke about this yesterday with my background as a CPA. We talk about Pennsylvania being the keystone state. We talk about, you know, manufacturing jobs and development. I can't understand the administration's stance on the depreciation deduction they made, because with my background in accounting over 20 years, it makes a difference for job creation. My business people spend money and they buy equipment. And I'm hoping, you know, there's a piece of legislation out there that that's going to at least bring the depreciation back in over a normal time. They're not going to allow the one-time 100%. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I know you've spent a lot of time with economic development yourself in Pittsburgh.
Economic development, my closest to CPAs, my daughter is going for her CPA right now, so I couldn't answer that particular question. Obviously, you know much more about that than I would. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to, and what the governor's goal right now is really to level the playing field with combined reporting that you probably know a lot more about than a lot of us, and really showcasing Pennsylvania as a place to do business from a tax standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, and you said so yourself, Representative, from where it is geographically. It is at a great location in the United States. Not only does it have the resources that we need, but it also has the connections to these major occupied cities, Boston, New York, D.C., and others.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Representative